Hi. So page 57, ternary ionic compounds. Okay, switch. As soon as you're done writing, pull out your blue periodic table. It's underlined? Sorry?
In the parentheses.
Or NH4. Polyatomic. We'll talk about it. All right. So these are still ionic compounds. So you're still going to be using the charges that you learned on the front of the periodic table. So the first column has a +1, the second column has a +2, that sort of thing. But then the rest of the compound, you're going to find on the back of your periodic table. So turn it over and find the first column. It says polyatomic ions on it. Find, for example, cyanide, Cn-1. It's capital C, capital N, -1. Nitrite, capital N, capital O, little 2, and it's got a -1 charge. And then look at the difference between nitrite and nitrate. Now, what is the difference if I were to ask you between nitrate and nitride? Listen carefully. Nitride and nitrate. What's nitrate? Okay, so NO3 with a -1 is nitrate, right? What's nitride? I'll give you a hint. This is what you've been working with. What is it? Yeah, it's just N from the front of the periodic table with a -3 charge. Remember, nitride is what we've been doing. So you got to be really careful with today's stuff because the ending tells you where to look. If it's "ide," it's just a regular element like normal. But if it's "ate" or "ite," then you're going to be looking back here on the back of the periodic table on these polyatomic ions. So be careful with that. That can get a little confusing. All right. So let's do some examples and see if we could start making sense of this. The first example is going to be sodium cyanide. I'm out. You're welcome to borrow this in class and then print one off of Canvas. All right, sodium is just sodium, the way we've been using it all along. Na with a +1 charge. Cyanide. Now, until you get used to this list, sometimes it's hard to know, oh wait, is cyanide an element on the front of the periodic table, or is it a polyatomic on the back? And so now, since they're in alphabetical order on the back, I want you to just check the back first if you don't recognize it immediately. Check the back first. If you see it there, then great. If you don't see it there, then it's going to be an element. Or you can ask me. So if you're really lost and you really can't find it, ask me. Is it on the front or on the back? And I can tell you. I don't want you searching for an hour on these tests and quizzes. I don't want you just looking around for stuff. I want you being able to work. So if you're not finding something, ask me. Okay, so cyanide is on the back, right? It is capital C, capital N, with a -1. And so you're just going to solve this the same way you've been doing. You just need one of each of these, right? You don't need to multiply anything by anything, right? So you just put it together. It is Na, capital N, lowercase a, capital C, capital N. Sodium cyanide. Pretty simple, yeah? Magnesium hydroxide is next. Magnesium is just Mg, what's its charge? +2, good. Now hydroxide, that sounds like it's an element, but double check that list. It's alphabetical, so it's going to help you search it. It's on there, isn't it? So it's not an element, it's a polyatomic. And it's O, capital H with a -1. All right, so what do I need to do? Times what by 2? Yep. So this is going to be Mg, and I'm going to write it wrong. I'm going to write the wrong answer. OH, and I want you to tell me why this is wrong. Sorry? No, remember, you don't write charges in your final answer. No, I need 1 Mg. So I got that part right. And I need 2 OHs. Do I have 2 OHs? Do I have 2 hydroxides? Okay, I only have 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogens here. I am going to need to put it in parentheses. Very good. So this is correct. Do you remember how in math, if I have x plus 6 and I want to multiply it by 2, I have to put it in parentheses and put the 2 there, right? Same thing here, except instead of in front, it goes down here. So in chemistry, instead of in front and big, it goes behind and small. Also, another thing, let's say I just had x and I want to multiply it by 2. Do I have to put it in parentheses to do that? No. And so I wouldn't have to do that to just an element either. I could just write it without parentheses. So I'm going to show you both of that in a second. So let's jot that down so we don't forget it. If you have more than one polyatomic, put it in parentheses and write the subscript on the outside of the parentheses. No, the quiz tomorrow is just going to be what we have been learning, not this new stuff. All right, let's do another example. Aluminum chloride. I'm sorry, I didn't mean aluminum. I meant ammonium chloride. All right. Ammonium. It's a polyatomic. It sounds like it's an element, but it's not. It's a polyatomic. It's NH, capital N, capital H, 4, -1. I'm sorry. That's what I said. I said +1. I said +1. You just didn't hear it right. It's your fault. Chloride. Is that a polyatomic or is that an element? That's an element. Chloride. Cl -1. Good. All right. So what do I do here? Nope. And I'm really glad you said that. This 4 right here is never ever going to change. You never do anything with it. You just copy it. So that 4, those numbers on the polyatomics never change, never move, never alter in any way. So when you're done and you have ammonium and you're writing your final answer, it needs to have an N and an H and a 4. Okay? All right. So you just look at the charges to see how many of each you have. And you need just one of each of these, right? You don't need to do anything to it. And so you just write it out. NH4Cl. Yes? Not bad? Let's do one more. Ammonium sulfate. Can you see how you just need one of each of these? Do you? Because you're looking at these charges and they all just cancel out like that, right? So you don't need to multiply by anything. So you just copy it down just like you did in the previous ones. So just NH4Cl. Ammonium sulfate, ammonium, NH4 with a +1. Now sulfate, is that on the polyatomic list or is that the element? Very good. And you can always double check because it is alphabetized. And so it's easy to check. So it is SO4 -2. So what do I need to do? What do I need to do first? Very good. Multiply that by 2. Now, what do I have to be careful about? I got all these numbers floating around. Which ones don't ever move? Those right here will never move, never change, never do anything weird. You don't even use them. You just kind of ignore them and copy them. Okay? Yes. So I'm going to need 2 ammoniums. So I need to put my ammoniums, my NH4, in parentheses to tell the reader that I need 2 of them. And then what do I do with SO4? Do I do this? Good. I don't. I don't put it in parentheses because I don't need more than 1. So you just write SO4. See how I've got a little space between there? Try not to put spaces between. Try to get them all nice and written right next to each other. And don't forget, no charges are written in your final answer. This is your rough draft stuff. That's where all your charges are taken care of. In your final answer, no charges. Now, how would you say this out loud? NH4-2SO4. You wouldn't have to read out the parentheses. Yeah.
Where did
That 2 came from right here. So my pink 2 is my new subscript. Yes? Okay. Yes. When you use parentheses is when you have to double up or triple up a polyatomic. So if your polyatomic is going to be multiplied by something, you're going to need to put it in parentheses to do that. All right, next, lead 4 sulfite. Lead is number 82. And again, I don't ever want you searching around on these things. If you're having trouble finding something, holler, because I don't want you wasting time looking these things up. Lead is PB. What do I do with this 4, this IV? What is that? Good. Remember, that's the charge of your lead. That hasn't changed. So PB plus 4. Sulfite. Double check the back. Is it there?
Yes.
Okay. Copy it down. SO3 -2. You got to be careful with this number here. That 3. Don't change it. All right. So what do I need to do to make this neutral? Yeah, times sulfite by 2. So that pink number is going to become a new subscript. So am I going to need parentheses? Yes. Do I need parentheses here? Never around just an element, only around polyatomics. So SO3, I need to trap inside parentheses so I can have a 2 on the outside. Only polyatomics and only when you need more than one. Okay, last one, aluminum sulfate. Aluminum is a +3. Sulfate, SO4 -2. What do I need to do to make this neutral? Aluminum by 2 and sulfate by 3. Is she right? That seems weird. Is that right? Yeah? What do you think, Elijah? Is that going to cancel out to 0? You got a +6 on the left and a -6 on the right? Okay, yeah, that looks good. Okay, good. So am I going to need parentheses around something? Yes. What? Just the sulfate or around the aluminum too? Just the sulfate? Okay, do I change that?
No.
Let's change it to a 6. Why not? No? Don't do it? But I want an 8? I want to be at 8.
You want to explode?
I mean, kind of. All right. So good. You already know how to do that aluminum. You need 2 of them. The pink numbers are your new subscripts. And SO4, you need 3 of them. Not too bad? Okay. Then let's do it the easy way. Let's flip it around and do it in backwards. I know. Calcium, CaSO4. Now, do you see how there's 3 letters here, 3 capital letters here? 3 or more capital letters means you are guaranteed to have to use the back of the periodic table. You're guaranteed that something is a polyatomic. If you have 3 or more capital letters, you're guaranteed that something comes from the back. Something is a polyatomic. Okay? All right. So calcium is just calcium. Is it a transition metal? Okay, good. So I don't need to worry about Roman numerals, right? Okay. SO4. I've already told you that you're going to have a polyatomic on this, so check SO4. Is it there? It's sulfate. Are you sure it's not sulfite or sulfide? It's sulfate. Okay, then just write sulfate. Boom. Easy. Okay, let's try one a little bit harder. Just a little bit. Fe3PO42. This is why I have trust issues, Miss C. Fe3PO42. Lucas? Lucas? Get busy. Chemistry. Chemistry. Put away your phone. Lucas is on his phone.
I am not. I would like to.
Lucas is also lying to me.
I would like to regard the allegations that I am on.
Lucas also cannot speak proper English.
I would like to speak to your manager. That's a good idea.
He wants to speak to my manager. I am my manager. All right.
Mark it.
Okay. Fe is iron. It's number 26. Is it a transition metal? Okay, so that means you got to do that extra step. You got to split it apart and figure out the charge. So, Fe is a question mark. You don't know what charge it's got. PO4, look it up. What is it? Sorry? It's phosphate. It's a -3. But how many do you have? You have 2 of them. Is everybody okay with the fact that you have 2 of them? Yes? Yes? So what does my question mark have to be? Look again.
3.
Look again. On this side, I have a -6. It's got to be +6 on the other side. Very good. I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? It's got to be +6 on the other side, so I wrote 6 here. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I have 3 of them. Good. I totally forgot about that. Good. I have 3 of these. So what does my question mark have to be? 2. Cornell got it. Do you see it? Do you see it? That question mark has to be a 2. Very good, guys. So this is iron 2 phosphate. Remember, the 3 here is how many you have. Well, that kind of gives you a clue, but it doesn't tell you the charge. And remember, this is its charge. Good, 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 good. I know, it's fine. Okay, do you think you can do that worksheet? You're doing this one that says polyatomics on it. I have the key up here. I'm willing to help you as much as you need, so feel free to come ask questions. As long as your phone is not out, I'm going to be happy. Do your work, check out the key, text me with any questions. Love, hugs.